avoid being targeted by Russian forces.
Вину за все случившееся.
A Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman denied accusations that the Russian military was responsible for the theater bombing, saying Russia has made clear armed forces do not shell civilian infrastructure. President Biden went after Russian President Vladimir Putin.
A murderous dictator, a pure thug who is waging an immoral war against the people of Ukraine.
The U.S. House voted to suspend normal trade relations with Russia, preparing for Biden to enact higher tariffs on more products to further weaken the Russian economy. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky visited injured people in a hospital in Kyiv and also met with rescuers to express the country's gratitude and award medals for their work. Smoke was seen rising from Kyiv's skyline. More rescue efforts underway as firefighters help dozens of people escape burning buildings. This video shows nurses caring for surrogate-born babies trapped in Kyiv. Many of their parents are in foreign countries. Poland's border guards say nearly 2 million refugees have crossed from Ukraine.
Many people leave family members like fathers, brothers, and sons behind, and they are very scared and worried.
The number of refugees is estimated to have reached more than 3 million. This Mariupol resident says they have nothing to eat, no light, and no heat.
And we understand the U.S. is trying to help Ukrainian refugees by making changes at the U.S.-Mexico border. Can you tell us a little bit more about what's going on there?
Chair, U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas said Customs and Border Protection agents along the U.S.-Mexico border were instructed to allow Ukrainians to enter the country to seek asylum. U.S. refugee officers have also been sent to Europe to screen Ukrainian refugees. And coming up, the Secretary of State warns about a Russian false flag attack. We'll have those details at 6.
Just awful. Thank you, Kimberly.
Now to this bad news tonight for WNBA star Brittany Griner. Russian authorities have extended her detention for at least 2 months. Early this morning, a Russian news agency reported that local courts have ordered her held until May 19th.
Griner was arrested last month after customs officials claimed they found hash oil in her luggage at the Moscow airport. In Russia, that crime carries a prison sentence of up to 10 years. Griner is reportedly sharing a cell with 2 other women, also being charged with the first-time drug-related offense. U.S. Embassy officials have not been allowed to see her.
All right, California lawmakers are hoping to ease the pain at the gas pump. Members of the state assembly introduced a short-term proposal today that would provide most residents a gas rebate check of $400.
Even Californians who don't own a car could receive a check per the proposal. It's a $9 billion plan that would apparently come from the state's reported $45 billion budget surplus. The legislation has bipartisan support.
For most vehicles, for most Californians, this $400 rebate is equivalent to a 1-year gas tax holiday. We know too many Californians are struggling to make ends meet right now.
Some drivers told us today that $400 is not enough for them.
Crisis averted in Atwater Village today as hazmat crews work to contain a chemical leak. LA City firefighters, along with the hazmat team, responded to Huntsman Chemical on the 4500 block of Electronics Place. Officials say a small valve from a metal vessel broke, which leaked gas into the air, creating a small cloud that quickly dissipated.
Fortunately, they say the gas was contained and there is no concern about the amount that spilled into the air. They advise people who may be in distress from the smell to contact a medical professional.
We're not anti-vaccine, we're anti-mandate. We believe in a person's right to choose what is put in their body.
A news conference was held this afternoon in support of LA City workers who filed a lawsuit against the city over the vaccine mandate. Around 100 workers filed the lawsuit claiming the vaccine mandate violates the Constitution. The only exemptions to the mandate are for religious or medical purposes, and those with exemptions must be tested weekly. Now, the attorneys who filed the lawsuit say the mandate results in discrimination between those with and without exemptions. exemptions and those with and without vaccination.
A lot of small print there.
Yeah, a lot. Okay. Well, the World Health Organization says the next surge in COVID cases could be around the corner. According to the CDC, COVID cases in the U.S. are dropping at a slower rate, and global COVID cases are increasing. The biggest jump was found in the Western Pacific region, where cases jumped 25%.